Combattants de l'indépendance, aujourd'hui victorieux, je vous salue au nom du gouvernement congolais. À vous tous, mes amis, qui avez lutté sans relâche à nos côtés, je vous demande de faire de ce 30 juin 1960 une date illustre que vous garderez ineffaçablement gravée dans vos cœurs, une date dont vous enseignerez avec fierté la signification à vos enfants, pour que ceux-ci, à leur tour, fassent connaître à leurs fils et à leurs petits-fils l'histoire glorieuse de notre lutte pour la liberté. La République du Congo a été proclamée et notre cher pays est maintenant entre les mains de ses propres enfants. Ensemble, mes frères, mes sœurs, nous allons commencer une nouvelle lutte sublime qui va mener notre pays à la paix, à la prospérité et à la grandeur. Nous allons établir ensemble la justice sociale et assurer que chacun reçoive la juste rémunération de son travail. Nous avons connu les ironies, les insultes, les coups que nous devions subir matin, midi et soir, parce que nous étions des nègres. Qui oubliera qu'à un noir, on disait tu, non certes comme à un ami, mais parce que les voix honorables étaient réservées aux seuls blancs. Nous avons connu que nos terres furent spoliées au nom des textes prétendument légaux qui ne faisaient que reconnaître les droits du plus fort. Nous avons connu que la loi n'était jamais la même, selon qu'il s'agissait d'un blanc ou d'un noir, accommodante pour les uns, cruelle et inhumaine pour les autres. Nous avons connu les souffrances atroces des relégués pour opinion politique ou croyances religieuses. Exilés dans leur propre patrie, leur sort était vraiment pire que la mort elle-même. Nous avons connu qu'il y avait dans les villes des maisons magnifiques pour les blancs et des paillotes croulantes pour les noirs. Que les noirs n'étaient admis dans les cinémas, ni dans les restaurants, ni dans les magasins européens. Que les noirs voyageaient à même la coque de péniche, au pied du blanc dans sa cabine de luxe. Qui oubliera enfin les fusillades où périrent tant de nos frères. Les cachons furent brutalement jetés, ceux qui ne voulaient plus se soumettre au régime d'injustice, d'oppression et d'exploitation. Cette indépendance du Congo, si elle est proclamée aujourd'hui dans l'entente avec la Belgique, pays ami avec qui nous traitons d'égal à égal, ni les Congolais digne de ce nom ne pourra jamais oublier cependant que c'est par la lutte qu'elle a été conquise. Une lutte de tous les jours, une lutte ardente et idéaliste, une lutte dans laquelle nous n'avons mélangé ni nos forces, ni nos privations, ni nos souffrances, ni notre sang. Cette élite qui fit des larmes, des feux et des sang, nous en sommes fiers jusqu'au plus profond de nous-mêmes, car ce fut une élite noble et juste, une élite indispensable pour mettre fin à l'humiliant esclavage qui nous était imposé par la force. Ce qui fit notre sort à 80 ans du régime colonialiste. Nos blessures sont trop fraîches et trop douloureuses encore pour que nous puissions les chasser de notre mémoire. Quand nous avons connu le travail harassant, exigé en échange de salaires qui ne nous permettaient ni de manger à notre faim, ni de nous vêtir ou nous loger décemment, ni d'élever nos enfants comme des êtres chers. Hommage aux combattants de la liberté.
Sounding good, people. That was Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba, one of our heroes. You know what I'm saying? We talk about Africa and we talk about revolution. We can never, ever, ever forget Patrice Lumumba. Tonight, we have a marvelous, dynamite political education experience for you. You know what I mean? This is a very important interview, one of the most important sessions that I've held in recent times. And what I wanted to do today, it is Congo Week. Internationally, it's Congo Week. So I wanted to do two things. I wanted to address two issues at one time, and one being that of Patrice Lumumba, because of the fact that we know that he was the first prime minister of Congo. We know that he was a brother who fought tirelessly and relentlessly, you know what I mean, to make sure that Congo was on the right side of the history, it being the epicenter of the continent of Africa. So what I wanted to do today, I wanted to reach out to one of our beautiful sisters and daughters of revolution, and that being Juliana Lumumba, who is the daughter of Patrice Lumumba. And we wanted to talk about her experiences with her father, the man we know as Malcolm said, was the greatest man to walk up out of Africa. That's according to, our shining prince, Malcolm X. So I pre-recorded this interview, and in the pre-recording process, we actually, she's broadcast from the Congo. You'll see her in a minute, coming in from the Congo, and we had some tech difficulties in the first 15 minutes, so we actually lost the first 15 minutes. But it was a convo around again her father and her earlier experiences. You know what I'm saying? But we're looking forward to having her back on. And after the interview with Miss Lumumba, we have our brother Maurice Carney, who'll be coming on and giving us an update of what's going on in the Congo and what took place after the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. It is very important that folks never forget Patrice, because of the fact that he wasn't only assassinated, he was totally dismantled. You know what I'm saying? He was brutally murdered. You talk about him being beaten at first and then sat in front of a firing squad, and from there buried, him and his two comrades, and later have his body chopped up and dipped in acid. We're going to talk about some of that stuff here on Riot Starter TV. So I want y'all to stay tuned. We'll be right back at you after this particular joint.
Mwana uwa mambu ya imba ngeke vwanda muntu kitoko. Ke mwana uwa mambu ya imba ngeke vwanda muntu mayele uwa malobi yabakuluntu amwana uwa malongi yabakuluntu amwana mwana fyotizo la tata na mama malongi ya bawo kepesa luzingu gelenda finga bauve gelenda finga bauve
mwana fyotizo la tata na mama malongi ya bawo kepesa luzingu gelenda finga bauve gelenda finga bauve mwana fyotizo la l'école kepesa kama ele atalubu mosiku kimape
kuwa
malongi
kuwa
malongi
malongi ya baboti mwana
kuwa
malongi ya baboti mwana
kuwa malongi
kuwa
malongi
kuwa
malongi
malongi ya baboti mwana
kuwa malongi
ya baboti mwana
kuwa malongi
kuwa
malongi
kuwa
malongi
have done this, but with the Congolese people, and who were not with him. But you know, he was a political leader. He was not a prophet or a religious person. So, as a political leader, you have people who are with you, others don't like you, and that is the rule of democracy. And they try to make democracy. And at that time, they didn't understand really what he wanted, because they wanted to be free, yes, but to copy and to make exactly all the white have done in our country. He said, no, we don't need to imitate them. We need to be ourselves. We have our own values. We are African. And they saw that he was crazy, you know. And when he was asking at 1960 that we have to get back our art, which in the museums and whatever, and we have to have all our shareholders in the economy, they're thinking he was a utopist, you know, and that's it. That's why I'm saying it's true, and now we know it by history. You know, it's not only the white people.
That's right.
But
yeah.
Now we have an evolution. It's different because people after his death, because he has a national destiny and he has a Pan-African destiny and an international destiny. Because if people didn't believe in that man, there is more than 30 countries in the world that have the name of Patrice Lumumba on streets, on places, in places like Belgium, France, Poland, Tehran, Iran, Alexandria, whatever. More than 30 countries in the world has given the name of Patrice Lumumba. If they didn't believe that this man was positive in some way or another, they won't do it.
Right.
But that is now, but not at that time. And we also had all this evolution because he didn't die by himself. He was not an individual. He was a political leader. He has people following him. And when he died, there were three when they assassinated. But after that, all his members of his party, a lot of them were assassinated. You know, they wanted to eliminate everything that was from Lumumba. And after that, from 1960 to 1964, we had a rebellion. And they wanted to be a Lumumbist rebellion and coming back with the ideas of Lumumba. So that's it for the moment, because I talk a lot.
No, it's trust me. I'm sitting here as a student, so I'm grateful for you to share, because of the fact that it's not. This isn't information we always get. I did a interview earlier this year on a Iranian television show, and the reporter asked me, did I know that, and I mentioned Patrice Lumumba, and he said, did you know that they had a street named after him in Tehran? And I didn't know. And I actually looked it up, and to verify what it is you're saying, I'm like, wow, here it is in Tehran, Iran. You have folks who were intelligent enough and respected Patrice Lumumba enough to name a street after him. But here in the United States, you might get a street named after Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, but the reality is they name streets after entertainers and sellouts. You know what I mean? So for folks to understand that this man was a revolutionary leader, you talking about a young man who became prime minister, who, as you said,
yes, he died when 36.
36 years old. So he was assassinated at 36.
When he died, when he was assassinated, yes.
Yes.
And he has been in power, like say, 3 years.
3 years.
From 58, the creation, the 10th of October 1958, the creation of his political party, and he has been assassinated the 17th of January 1961.
Wow.
So in his short time, he had such an impact in our country and such an impact on a lot of people.
Yeah, globally. Globally. No, I mean that part right there is incredible. I wanted to ask you, because of the fact that, like you stated earlier, you said, okay, boom, this was just daddy to me, right? This was your father. So it goes beyond just a political presence and a political understanding. I want to know, at what age did you begin to understand the impact of who your father was, who Patrice Lumumba, and I don't even want to say was, I want to say is, because of the fact that indeed his legacy lives.
You know that before my father died, we flew to Egypt in October 1960. And it's a little bit story. We went to Egypt with Mr. Abdelaziz Ishaq, who came in Congo at that time to open the new embassy. And he met my father, and he found that this person worth knowing, and they became friends. And he asked, because at that time my father was arrested under house arrest, and there was 2 belts around the house. The first one of UN forces, the second one of Mobutu's army. And they asked, Mr. Abdelaziz asked him if he could bring us, the children, to Egypt to protect us. And he sent a telegram to Cairo. He was from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He sent a telegram to the President Nasser, and he said, okay. So we had passport as Egyptians, and his sons, Francois, Patrice, and me. Roland, the last one, stayed with mom. And Francois was Tarek, Patrice was Omar, and I was Fatma, like the children of Mr. Abdelaziz. Right. Anyway, we had, first of all, to get out of this house. Everybody was under house arrest.
Wow.
Anyhow, coming, and they have a pass to go and see the prisoner at United Nations. As a member of an embassy, he came, and he said he had to give some, boisson, drinks to the Prime Minister. Our father, that's Francois who told me, he was 9 years old at the moment. I was something like more or less 5 years. And he said that, yeah, you're going to Egypt, you're going to learn, you are going to go to university, but whatever you became, you have to come back home to work. And that's Francois told me, Dad says that. So
Right.
they put that in the jeep, all the empty boxes of drinks, and heading to the airport. And it was terrible because everybody had the photos of Lumumba's children. Anyway, we get through to the Sabina because we didn't have a national flight. And he said that we are his sons, but Mr. Abdelaziz was Egyptian. He was blonde with blue eyes. He was blonde with blue eyes. So it was fun.
He said you as children, though.
And we made a big tour from, I don't know, to make a big tour. And we arrived in Egypt, you know. And we arrived there, Mekeke Church. And one time we were hearing, and my father, and he created the Department of African, the African department in the Foreign Affairs, and he was a professor, and he created the African Association in Egypt. And it was a network for all the liberation movements in Egypt. And this man, because our house, it was United Nations, because I've seen Amir Kakara, Neto, Sam Nujoma, all of these persons, they were in Egypt as refugees and they were coming home. And our father used to teach us who was my father, who was Chombe, who was Lumumba, the history, whatever. But we were 6. He had 3 children, Magdi, Shams, Magdi, Bahagat, and Sham, 3. 2 boys and a girl, and we were 2 boys and a girl. And we grew up, there was no difference between us, the black one, and the white one. Never.
Wow.
A difference. We were alike. And I remember we were young, we started hearing in the streets, Lumumba, Lumumba. We were looking, that's our name.
Right.
And people, there was, manifestation, how said it in English? In the streets.
Protesting? They were protesting,
yes.
or?
Yes, not protesting because they heard that Lumumba was assassinated.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was very young and I was always sick. And so from the government, presidency, they came and took Francois and Patrice, and they went to see all this, manifestation. You understand, when people protest in the street.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Yeah. Like a memorial type.
Yes, in the streets. And it was terrible because I was at home because I was little, and they were afraid that, I go to this riot, and they have burned and break the American University of Cairo. They have break the Belgian embassy. I remember because I lived there.
Right. Okay.
So, and
I was able to see it.
Before what happened, my mother, Mama Zizi, my Egyptian mother, told us to come, and we stayed, everybody, white and blacks, brothers and sisters, best, and explained to us what happened and that our father was assassinated.
Wow. So, but you first heard about this in the streets, though. You heard the chanting first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
we heard it from our parents, Egyptian parents first, to let us know what happened really.
Wow.
And then when it was public in most of the world, people going by the streets everywhere to protest against.
Right.
So the presidency came and took Patrice and Francois to see what's happening and what it is.
So
we were aware very young.
So you were still in Egypt at the time.
Used to teach us who we were and who is our father. In Egypt, their second language is English,
Right.
but they sent us to French schools because we had to go back home and speaking French
Wow.
for our country. And I remember they were Muslims, but my father, he said to his wife, mommy, that he has to go with us to church every Sunday because their father gave them to me Christian and they will remain Christian. And that's it.
So he respected the belief
Yeah.
system. Yeah. Now how long did you
because it was like that at home, half Christian and half Muslim. And on Sunday, we were protesting because our brothers and sisters are sleeping and we have to go to church. So father said, everybody to church. And that's it.
everybody got to go? Okay. So
Yeah.
how long did you all stay in Egypt from at that point? How long did you stay in Egypt?
We're in Egypt.
Yeah. After the assassination.
Or with my family.
Yeah.
Because my mother came a year after.
Okay.
We were in the same neighborhood.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the two moms know each other very well. So
Okay.
we have two homes. When I was young, I believe that everybody was like me, having a white mom and a black mom and a white dad and a black dad. But I knew who I was, but
You
I
was
had
clear.
to.
Right. But
Yes.
that's the good part about it. You knew who you were. So with that in mind, okay, so they told you that he was assassinated, and you knew who the assassins were in regards to Mobutu and the Belgians. I mean, when did you learn exactly from a political standpoint, what was the cause of this assassination, or did you already know?
I don't understand.
Okay, I'm saying like after he was
No,
assassinated.
because the sound sometimes it goes, so I can't hear
the sound's
you.
coming
The
in and
sound is
out.
not very stable. That's
Yeah.
why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to talk a little bit slower so we can catch
No,
up
it's
with the
not
sound.
you. It's
Okay.
the sound. Sometimes it just go.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
yeah.
I understand.
Cool.
From
So
Mobutu, what is
Yeah.
Mobutu doing here?
right, exactly. So
Yeah.
so when was it that you understood that those were the people who assassinated your father? Did you know already, or
No, we knew when we were very young.
Okay.
From our Egyptian family, our fathers and sisters, we knew the
Okay.
history. And after that, when my mom came, Mama Pauline, we knew other stories. And we were very aware since very young what happened to our father.
Okay. So what did you where did you go back to the Congo as an adult, or were you still a child, or how did
No,
that?
never. We grew up in Egypt, and after that, I went to France to finish my studies. I started to work there, and then finally I came in Congo, Zaire at that moment at 1994, because we were not allowed to come. We didn't have Zairian or Congolese passports. And our mother, Mobutu, wanted us back, but my mom didn't want. She wanted us to finish our study, and after that, we can came. It was after the declaration of democracy opening. The democracy in Congo in 1991, 1992. So Hollande and mom went before, and then I came with Francois, and the last one to come is Patrice. So we need to come back home almost 40 years, not because we wanted, but because it was like that. And I think that nobody on earth should live this experience, because it was not a choice of being abroad and being exiled so long. We were a child, and it's not fair. It's not fair that they steal from you your own history, your own land, and a lot of things. But instead of that, if we didn't fly, because it was really flying, to Egypt, I won't be here to talk to you.
Right, right, right. Well, we glad that decision was made, to get out. So what was, as far as like, okay, growing up Lumumba, you know what I mean? Did the folks that you went to school with and everything, did they know your history?
No, because I went in a boarding school in Egypt, Notre Dame des Apôtres, religious school, French. But we were very famous
Okay.
in Egypt, because they really honor Patrice Lumumba. He's a positive figure. And I remember when I was young and going to see my friends, when you said, that is Juliana. Okay, hello, Juliana Lumumba. Oh, everybody, so it was a little bit like that. So that's it. I was a little bit different.
Right.
But I think that I am very, grateful to the Egyptian government, to our Egyptian friends, because in a way, we are the children of violence, and big violence. What happened to us? Not only the way our father died, but the way that we had to leave our country. We didn't leave going like that. We were hiding,
Right.
and we went there, and we find a lot of love, a lot of respect for my father, and a lot of things. That's why we grew up in a very, very, very great conditions, and we were entouré with love, with respect, with the, we grew up, and it gives you strength with our Egyptian family, like I said, like brother and sister, and they didn't hide, but they were protected. And in the meantime, they were telling us what we are and how we should go back, and it's home. Not telling us, you have to stay here forever. No, you're going to be great people, to be great like your father, and go back to your country. And that's why I'm grateful for. And there is, I said, things that are positive, but other things are very negative too. And I remember my mother, she was very young. She was like 23 when my father died. And we grew up. She said that Lumumba is the name of her husband. And we should, and Akam said that we have to gain, the right of being called Lumumba. She was a proud lady, and here we are. Here is the product. Here is the product.
Yes.
Of this Greek lady.
So I read recently that they had remains of your father. We understand the conditions and everything that took place. Can you speak to that, because of the fact that we've gotten?
Yes, I know. The horrible thing that when my father was sent to Katanga, there was 2 Belgian and 3 Congolese, Chombe and others. And they started beating them. There were 3 of them, Lumumba, Okito, and Polo. And after then, they shot them, they buried them, and they came back to unbury them and started to cut them in pieces. And after that, they said that they dissolved them with acid. And I don't know, how do you call that? Crime against humanity. I think if you really hate people to that extent.
Yeah.
And we didn't know. We knew this history, but we didn't have any, we didn't know if the place, they said that it was really there and everything was true. And we knew this he's from the army, Major Slut. He made an interview saying that he was there. He cut them in 34 pieces, and they dissolved them with acid. And he showed on the TV a tooth, saying he remained with 2 teeth of Lumumba. Okay.
This is an African, or is this an African?
No, he was not. He's Belgian.
Belgian. Okay.
No, he was from the army.
Right.
The Belgian army, working with the Katanga rebellion, secession. And when we heard that, they asked him, some journalists, he said, no, he threw them in the sea. It was not true. And after his death, his daughter said that she still remained with this teeth, one of the two, at home.
Right.
So one journalist who wrote about the assassination of Patrice Lumumba, a book, who made a buzz, everything, and he sued her for resale of human bodies, whatever. So it was now in the Belgian justice. Right. Okay. My brothers, Francois, Roland, and the others had made a complaint against the 10 Belgian officials that were at this time as, in dans le complot of the assassination of my father, okay, 10 years ago. And this complaint has been in justice for 10 years. Already 10 of them died.
Wow.
Still remains 2 who are very old too.
Right.
I think that the Belgians are waiting for them to die. So anyway, after all these years, and I was thinking, we are going nowhere. And if there is a remaining of anything that exists from my father, we need to have it, not only a relic. It's symbolic. We need, after that, justice is very slow and it happens to nothing for the moment. So I said, you have to turn the way of this. And I won't do it in suing people because they are more strong than us as persons. They are a country and a government. I said, okay, I will write a letter, but I put it in the affect, in the sentimental way as a daughter. And I won't talk to the government. I don't want it to be political. We've tried politics. It doesn't worth it. I will write with the king and we will see. And I wrote this letter to the king because for 60 years and more than 60 years, it's still painful to know that our father died this way. And we don't have anywhere to house it as African, as a daughter, to go and see him and to pay respect.
Right.
As a daughter. And I think as a daughter, everybody wants to give respect to his dead parents somewhere, to remember them, to go and there. Not only as a daughter, and it's important. And this truth is it's symbolic. And he has to go back to his country, to his own country, to the country who loved so much that he died for it. Because they tried to give him money and anything, and he refused because he believed in this country. And that is on my way as a daughter. And I was very close to my father. And if you find a photo with a child, it's me, with my father. And I have a photo here with my father. And as a first prime minister of the Congo independent, it's important for this country. And even here, you have the biggest street here is Lumumba, and people who believed in him who had the right to go somewhere to pay respect to their national hero, because he's a national hero now here in GRC. And the 17th of January is a holiday, you know. And not only nationally, and also for all the people who believed in him, he needs to come back. He needs to come back where he belongs. He needs to come back for us children, for Congolese people, for any African from the continent or abroad, like the Afro-descendant. You, for example, if you ever went to come and to pay respect to this man, if you believe in him. So that's how I felt it, and I wrote to the king, and they replied very quickly and accepted to
return it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Return remains. So we were okay. We adjusted that with the Belgian government. He had to be here since last January, 2 years ago, and the delay is from here, from the presidency. Don't ask me why, because I don't know. The last time it was because of COVID. So I hope that this time it will be the right time and he can come back home. Not as a relic of assassin, but in our culture, every death is a renaissance.
That's right.
And we need to do it. He needs to come back home. When he comes back home and he's buried, when you bury something like a seed, what happened? It grows.
It grows. That's right.
It grows.
That's right.
Yes. And it's a renaissance of the hope. It's a renaissance of what we believed in. It's the renaissance of what he believed in. And we have to continue. He had made his part with all the martyrs, all went with him. And we tried to go on this path with our errors, but we have to continue.
That's right.
We have to have hope. It's not a matter of weeping or crying. It's not the time. We have this time. Now we have the time of hope. We have the time of development. We have the talents. We have all we have it on our own hands. It's our work. If we want fully to, that is the revenge for me of Lumumba. It's not to cry. It's not to go and say, I will kill whatever and sue him. It is that his ideas, his value that he died for come true. That's the best revenge.
Hey, I agree with you. I'm looking and I'm listening because I mean this situation with Lumumba, it shows the hatred that they have for African people, particularly Africans who resist. You understand what I'm saying? The fact that they would, I mean, the fact that it's even an issue that someone, first and foremost, the fact that someone would do the things that they did to your father, that's number one. That's the most atrocious. I mean, my mind is not even equipped to fathom that. You know what I'm saying? Because to a degree, to an extent, it seems unrealistic. It seems like some type of horror film. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, it's horror. It's horrible. Nobody can understand that, how hard it is. You know, and we have this film Lumumba. I don't know if you have seen it, from Raoul Peck.
I wanted to ask you about that.
And me, I can't see it. I can't. Till now, till this age, I can't.
Yes.
It's horrible. I don't know the hatred to this extent.
Yes. I mean, they try to, they not only try to assassinate and murder him and torture him, but they really literally try to destroy his spirit. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you beat him, you shoot him, you bury him, chop him up, dip him in acid, collect his teeth as a souvenir.
And cut him in 34 pieces. I heard him saying that in an interview.
With no remorse. I mean, you know, these are strange people. You know what I'm saying? And I can't imagine your thoughts and your feelings because of the fact that this is your father. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the first thing. I am hurt and I never met him. Just the stories that I've heard. You understand what I'm saying? Just understanding, you know, who he was as a leader for us. Here I am. I've never been to the Congo. You know what I'm saying? But his energy and his presence, I was born in 1970. So he was already gone physically before I even came on the planet. But he's impacted my life. You know what I mean? So to hear, every time I hear that particular part of that story, it really just, I mean, it messes me up. But to sit here and talk to you, his offspring, and just, I can't even begin to try to imagine. But I say that, you know, I pray that if there's any sense of bit of humanity in that particular government, that they would at least, at the very least, return his remains, you know, to you and the family so you can deal with it properly. Has there ever been any type of apologies issued, or what? I mean, not that it would matter, but I'm just saying, it's like, has there been any sign of remorse, or has it just been, you know, business as usual?
What do you ask? Because the voice was
it was going in and out. Yeah, I was saying, has there been any sign of any remorse or apologies issued, or did they just not care at all?
I don't really like talking about that. It's so emotional.
Right.
Apology, I don't know.
Right. I mean, not that it would.
Wanted to give us back the remain. It's important.
Right.
They had made apologizes it was a committee hearings. They made an apology for the Congolese and family, and they say they had moral issues. They had made apology. But anyway, apology is okay, but we need to reconciliate.
That's right.
Not only our country, because it's a reconciliation between Belgium and Congo if the remains of my father comes. But when we say reconciliation, it doesn't mean that I accept and I forgive. It doesn't mean that we need to reconcile also our memories, because we don't have the same memory as African Congolese as Belgian.
That's right.
And like I said, we always forgive, but never forget.
That's right. Right on.
And it's important. And I had the example. You talk a lot of my father, and we are the product. But if we didn't have the mother that we had, we won't be like that, because she passed through a lot of things, a lot of suffering, a lot of cruel things too. Because after the death of my father, they took her, saying that is the tribal habit. She was almost naked in the streets of Kinshasa. And we have this woman. And she was beaten. She stayed with the roll under the rain for hours. And she passed through a lot of things. But my mother never complained and never talked about it. She said we had to go through. We have difficulties. We don't have to try to cry. We have to get to look for issues and go on. And she was a very, cheerful person. Very severe, but she was Mama. And I can tell her, Mama, I want to be a president. She's okay, go. Let's go and start, And she was a wonderful person. And what she had through, never complained. Go forward.
Wow.
Because she married very young. She has been a widow very young. She was 23 or 24.
Oh, wow.
She never married again. She died 6 years ago.
So
after 53 years of being a widow.
Wow. And she died.
Finally went together with her Patrice. When I think about her, I said, Mom, at least you found your Patrice.
That's right.
And you're together now.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So she definitely was a strong woman too. I mean,
because I asked her, my mother, she was very young, why she never married again? She could, and especially in our culture, it's not a good thing to remain a widow. Nobody will, you're crazy or something.
Right.
She said, no, after I married your father and living with your father, I didn't meet a man that worth to equal Patrice. That's one. The second thing, I didn't want to do to make any other children. I just want you.
Wow.
I don't want you to suffer. I don't want his children to suffer. If I have other children.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, she had high standards. It was, you couldn't find a man, you talking about Patrice Lumumba, where do you go from there?
That's my mom.
Yes.
She said so. Not only to me, but to journalists.
And what was her name?
Pauline.
Well, yes. So definitely we salute Pauline Lumumba because of the fact that, yes.
Hey, Kalonji, I have to leave you in 2 minutes.
Listen,
because I have something. I'm not crying. I have a problem with my eyes.
Oh, okay. I thought I was making you so happy you started crying.
Yes. No. I'm not crying.
Okay.
No, I'm not crying.
Okay.
Everybody thinks I'm crying. No way.
Right on. Well, listen.
I will show you something if you can see it. Hold on a minute.
Yes.
You can see that.
Wow. Yes.
That's me and Daddy.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
That is me and my father.
Wow.
He looks so proud.
Yeah. You look just like him.
I look so happy.
Man.
That's the best.
That is beautiful. That is very beautiful, man.
Okay.
We
so
definitely
I
appreciate
hope
you sharing.
that you have enough of
Listen,
me today because I have other things to do.
It's all good. I am absolutely grateful. We appreciate you spending time with us today. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
listening
to me. And to my bad English,
Listen, your English,
I will improve it next time.
your English is better than mine, I think.
Then your
Yes.
French, not English.
Hey, I'm gonna work on it. So I'm gonna work on my
Okay.
French. But anyway,
Okay, thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you
yes,
very much
we
for
love you, Big
sharing
Strong.
this
and
moment.
yes, look forward to meeting you in person. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Okay, be safe. Take it easy.
Okay, be safe, you too.
Right on. We
Okay, bye.
yes, we are live. We just had we were just joined by Juliana Lumumba, daughter of Patrice Lumumba, and it was definitely an honor, a privilege, and you know, I don't know if I should say a pleasure because of the fact that myself, I'm sitting here emotional because of the fact that I recognize the greatness of not a national hero, but an international hero for African people. To me, he's one of our most important figures, you know, in the history of. I think Malcolm said he was the greatest man to come out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's what Malcolm X said. You know, and we honor and we give thanks for Mama Juliana. We give thanks for Mama Pauline, who became an ancestor, and you know, who stood strong and continued to carry on after the assassination of you know, such a great African and a great revolutionary. You're checking out Riot Starter TV. Make sure you continue to stay tuned in with us.
Congolese have been massacred by white people in the Congo for years and years and years. And if the shoe is now on the other foot, only thing I can say is it's like chickens that always come back home to roost.
Do you personally feel, though, that there's some shame or involvement here or some guilt associated with the killing of other human beings?
I think that the white people should be ashamed of the deplorable situation that has been existing in the Congo, which is not the fault of the Congolese, but which is the result of instigation by European powers who are fighting each other over the mineral wealth of the Congo. And now to make it appear that the Congolese themselves are criminals or brutes because they're reacting to these injustices that they've been victimized by is again ducking the question.
Chambi is the murderer of Lumumba, who was the rightful prime minister of the Congo. Chambi is the man whose forces fought against the United Nations forces and against the United States. And despite this criminal past of Chambi, now the United States is backing Chambi, who has hired South African mercenaries who are hired killers to disrupt the peaceful efforts of the freedom fighters from Stanleyville to make the type of country there that they want. And it is this American support of Chambi, actually, that's at the root of the whole problem.
What's happening? We are back again, live and direct. You know, we just had our great mother, you know, daughter of revolution herself, Miss Juliana Lumumba on. And, you know, I felt like if we're going to have Juliana on and we're going to talk about Patrice Lumumba, we can't end there. We got to talk about what's going on, you know, in the Congo present day. So we called our good comrade, who's no stranger to Black Power Media, who's no stranger to Africa, and wherever there's a fight, particularly in the Congo or DC, he's somewhere in the middle of it. I want to introduce you to our brother Maurice Carney. What's happening, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. It's good to be back with you, brother Kalonji. Man,
always a pleasure. You know, you're unlike that other guy over there, that guy.
He had so many wonderful things to say about you.
Oh, did he? He probably want to borrow some money. You know how that goes, man. But definitely, you know, shout out to our brother Kwame and to Sister Tyra for actually making the interview with Miss Lumumba happen because of the fact that you know, there's a lot of persistence. You know, so Friends of the Congo. Tell for the folks who are unfamiliar, whatever. Tell us about Friends of the Congo and the role that you play.
Friends of the Congo, in essence, is a solidarity institution. If you're familiar with Pan-African history, we come in the tradition of the Friends of Abyssinia that established by individuals like CLR James and in the 1930s come to the assistance of and the support and solidarity of the Ethiopians. In the same vein, today, based on the level of the attack against the Congolese people, both regionally and internationally, we felt that there was a need to establish an institution to sound the alarm about the wars of aggression that are being perpetrated against Congo, backed primarily by the United States. So Friends of the Congo has been in existence for about 2 decades or so now, with 2 overarching aims. One is to raise global consciousness about what's transpiring in the heart of the African continent. That's where the Congo is situated. And the second is to provide support to local institutions, particularly revolutionary institutions that are trying to bring about change in the country and fulfill the vision of Patrice Lumumba. So that's Friends of the Congo in brief.
Hey man, that's it might have been brief, but it's powerful. So we definitely commend you all for that work and those efforts. And I can honestly say, when it comes to being updated on what's going on in the Congo, it is a blessing that you comrades have chosen that particular part of the battle, because of the fact that it's one struggle, it's one aim, it's one Africa. As Garvey said, yes. But it's good to have folks who are who serve as delegates, to so to speak, and ambassadors to make sure that we get the proper information from a revolutionary perspective. I want to, we know that we like I said, I spoke to Ms. Lumumba about, her father.
Yes.
But we really didn't get into what took place after the assassination of Patrice Lumumba. Can we get into that a little bit, and let's walk it up into present day?
Sure. And the assassination of Lumumba and, of course, his comrades, always have to mention Maurice and Polo, Joseph Okito, who were part of Lumumba's administration and revolutionary movement in the Congo. And the fact that the 3 of them were assassinated provides us with some insight into what unfolded, how it is that the United States in particular orchestrated the overthrow and subsequent assassination of Lumumba. But it wasn't just an assassination, Brother Kalonji. What the United States did was they overturned and dismantled this nascent democratic movement, this revolutionary movement, this nationalist Pan-Africanist movement. So it wasn't just a question of assassinating Lumumba, but it was a question of just eradicating, just dismantling any notion of a revolutionary Pan-African movement coming out of the heart of the African continent, arguably the most strategic location on the planet, certainly the richest, right? The richest part of the continent, if not the world itself. And in fact, the chief of the station of the CIA himself stated, Larry Devlin, he wrote a book called entitled Chief of Station Congo. I encourage people to read it. Don't go and buy it, but find it somewhere to read it.
Sure.
And he said that we had to remove Lumumba, right? Because if we didn't remove Lumumba, not only would we have lost the Congo, but we would have lost all of Africa. So here we see the enemies of Africa centering the Congo, right? On the one hand, in the case of Larry Devlin. On the other hand, you had Fanon. Fanon said the fate of all of us is at stake in the Congo. And Nkrumah writing a book on the Congo entitled The Challenge of the Congo, where Congo would serve as the capital and the center of the United States of Africa. So what we saw in the around the overthrow and assassination of Lumumba, which in fact the United States itself, in declassified documents that it released a number of years ago from the State Department, said the operation around the Congo was the largest covert action in the world since at that time in the 1960s by the Central Intelligence Agency. So what we saw in the Congo was this effort, this undertaking on the part of the United States to destroy democracy, and by removing Lumumba, removing the revolutionary forces. But that wasn't sufficient. What happened, in addition to that, what the United States did was to install a dictatorship over the Congolese people, right? And then maintain that dictatorship for over 3 decades. What I mean by maintain that dictatorship, meaning that whenever there are any attempts to try and overthrow the dictatorship, the U.S. would either send in its military, send in proxies. Even in one occasion, they sent in bomber jets that were flown by those who were driven out of Cuba by Castro, that were living in Miami. They joined up with the CIA to go in and bomb Congolese revolutionaries who were trying to regain power. So the United States installed this dictatorship over the Congolese people for over 3 decades in Joseph Desiree Mobutu. And then he ran the country to the ground even further, right? And when the Congolese people, after nearly around 3 decades or so, mustering this people's movement, this democratic movement coming in the wake of the Cold War in the early 1990s, when in the aftermath of the Cold War in the early 1990s, we see instead of the United States, quote unquote, the leading democracy in the world, supporting this grassroots democratic movement that was coming up to try and get rid of Mobutu, what they did was, the US that is, they backed an invasion of the Congo so that Mobutu would be removed by agents of neocolonialism, proxies of the United States. And I'm speaking about primarily the leader in Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and the leader in Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. And this year, Congo Week, which as a part of Congo Week, is to commemorate the millions of lives that have been lost in the conflict in the Congo that was triggered by the invasion led by Kagame and Museveni. This year is the 25th anniversary, the 25th year since that war was unleashed on the Congolese people, a war of aggression. Rwanda and Uganda invaded Congo in 1996, and they backed the installation of Laurent Desire Kabila. They didn't like the way he was moving, so they invaded again in 1998. And those 2 invasions is what led to an estimated 6 million Congolese losing their lives. So when it comes to telling what happened in the Congo since the assassination of Lumumba, you've had the assassination, imposition of a dictatorial rule, the backing of a war of aggression by the most powerful country in the world, the United States. And then what we're left with today is a inept, beaten down political class that is so far away from the vision of Lumumba that you wouldn't recognize the country. And that's really, Congo is emblematic of what has unfolded throughout the continent as a whole, where you've had these independence leaders suffer from coups, wars of aggression, all imposed by imperialist forces, whether we're talking about the United States itself or France. So what we find is a continent that's bereft of any kind of revolutionary leadership, a continent that has an African Union that would reject the application of Haiti to be a part of the African Union and accept the application of Israel to have observer status. So that's where we are today, not only in the Congo, but the continent as a whole.
The African Union is sort of like the the United Nations. Toothless. It sounds good in theory,
right?
I'm saying, but in
it's,
practice,
it's a far cry from what Nkrumah and Touré and envisioned for the continent as a whole.
Yes. How can folks, because of the fact that it's so much information, and I'm definitely glad you're here because of the fact that so often when folks talk about what went on with Lumumba, they talk about the Belgians, but they don't speak on the U.S. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, U.S. was far more critical. Lumumba could not have been overthrown without United States,
right?
Without the United Nations. It was a coterie of imperialist forces that joined. When you look at it, Lumumba didn't have a chance. He really didn't have a chance when you consider the array of forces against him. And it's really important to note, Brother Kalonji, those forces are still at play today. It hasn't fundamentally changed. You see, even the state of Congo itself, that country, it was established as an extractive outpost. It was set up by Europeans so rubber could be extracted, so ivory could be extracted, so iron could be extracted. And that has continued to this day. The only difference is that the type of minerals that are being extracted to some extent. Right. They weren't extracting coltan to feed the capitalist engine in the West back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, but that's what's being extracted today, and cobalt is being extracted today. So that blueprint that's was set in place in the 1884-1885 Berlin Conference is still in effect to this day. And that's the fundamental struggle of the Congolese to reclaim their sovereignty, to control and determine their own affairs. And that's why the young people of today in the Congo are reaching out to Lumumba and reaching back and studying Lumumba and seeing and drawing up on his teachings and drawing inspiration from him in order to wage their battle to bring about change, not only in the Congo, but in Africa as a whole.
It's another thing that's wild, and I know we're pressed for time, but the fact that when you hear the number 6 million, you know what I'm saying, the Jews in Nazi Germany, they're quick to say 6 million. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No one cries for the Congo. You spoke about that particular number, that estimated number, but you didn't talk about the torture. You didn't talk about the maiming and all of that type of stuff. Can you touch on that a little bit and why it's important for us to support Congo and the travesty and the terror that continues to this very day? Can you speak on that a little?
Yeah, I mean, simply put, it's Black life. It's African life. Can you imagine if African life is being destroyed to the extent that it is in the Congo, and then the African world is just silent about it? It just means that, well, you don't value Black life. You don't value African life. So if our brothers and sisters in the heart of the motherland is are being raped, hundreds of thousands of women being raped as a weapon of war, people living in bestial conditions, if that doesn't drive you as a Black person, as an African, to act, to want to change it, to want to assist those who are trying to transform that situation, then how can you even claim that Black life matters? If Black life matters, Congo's got to matter. It's really as simple as that. And this is not the first time. Right. We saw when the Europeans first conquered, or not first, but in the 1800s, conquered the African continent, or in the heart of Africa, and they gave Congo to King Leopold II. And during that period, an estimated 10 to 15 million Congolese perished as a king extracted rubber. So that was like over 100 years ago. And then today, 6 million. So what we're saying at Friends of the Congo, we don't want 100 years from today for people to be saying how millions of lives are being lost in the Congo because they're extracting some mineral that we don't know of today. Our aim is to have that stop today, and the best way to have it stop is for Africans to control the Congo, for Africans to control Africa, and for us to get rid of these stooges and proxies who are running a game on us, like Paul Kagame and Yoweri Museveni. They go around pretending they're Pan-Africanists. I hear people saying that Paul Kagame is a great Pan-Africanist. The guy kills Africans to the tune of millions. He's like in bed with finance capitals, the biggest capitalists in the world. People like former war criminals or current war criminals like Tony Blair and Bill Clinton. Those are his buddies.
Yes.
And so these are so we try to bring clarity to this, like who is truly in support of Africans, the African Revolution, truly in support of Pan-Africanism. And that's part of what we do during Congo Week. It's a global teaching on what's transpiring, not only in the Congo, but in Africa as a whole. And we try to get beyond the corporate media, try to share with you the true story of what has unfolded in terms of the imperialist war of aggression against the Congolese people, not only a hard war, but also a soft war in the sense that the multilateral institutions that the United States control, World Bank, IMF, they write the mining laws for the Congo, and they write it to suit their corporate needs, and certainly not the needs of the Congolese people. So during Congo Week, you'll get to hear about that. There's a lawsuit that's being brought against major corporations like Apple and Tesla because of their involvement in the Congo. We'll be discussing that tomorrow. We'll be discussing that on Wednesday, the 20th at 2 p.m. And people can go to Congo Week, congoweek.org to find out more about it. We'll be discussing the 25-year war against the Congolese people. We're showcasing a film entitled L'Afrique en Morceaux, or African Pieces, where we have Paul Kagame, Yoweri Museveni, in their own words, telling you how they invaded the Congo, telling you how they were backed by the United States in terms of intelligence, in terms of money, in terms of equipment, you name it, in their own words. So when we say this, we're not just making things up. We have the documentation, and we hope you can join us. You go to congoweek.org, you'll get all that information about what has unfolded in the Congo and what continues to unfold in the Congo today.
Hey, brother, we definitely appreciate your work. Next year, we definitely want to hear Black Power Media sponsor Congo Week virtual.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, hold us to it. Give us the time. Whatever.
Well, your brother from another mother down there in Atlanta is going to do that. So.
Oh, man.
So you don't even have to say hold us to it.
Hey, I should have said that to you offline because he about to call me in a few minutes. I might have changed my phone number. But definitely
he's gonna be on you.
You know that. But it's our duty. We hear so many brothers and sisters talking about going back to Africa. They talk about, the motherland and this and so on and so forth. But seldom do we hear folks talk about going back to reclaim, going back to assist in our people's liberation struggle. You know what I'm saying? That's the part. Yeah. I'm not hearing too many people saying they want to go to the Congo. You know what I'm saying? No, not too many people. They want to chill on the beach. You know what I'm saying? And talk about nice things, but forget about what's really going on. So definitely we commend you. Give us the website to Friends of Congo as well, because of the fact that we think that more people need to get involved.
Sure. The website is friendsofthecongo.org, friendsofthecongo.org. And in order to participate in Congo Week, then go to congoweek.org. And a shortcut to the films that are being screened throughout Congo Week is Congo in Harlem, congoinharlem.org. We usually bring Congolese filmmakers, practitioners, musicians to Harlem every year for Congo in Harlem, but we've been doing it virtually for the last couple years since the pandemic. So we encourage people to go to congoinharlem.org. A really interesting film on Malcolm X on the Congo. Another interesting film on the Black Panthers in Congo Brazzaville in the early 1970s, making connections then. So we have some really good stuff for you this year in the film series.
We appreciate it, brother. I might have to become a card-carrying member of Friends of the Congo.
Hey, man, you doing the work. You're already a member of Friends of the Congo.
Hey, listen,
friend all the way.
I just want to do that out of spite for Kwame.
You want to initiate a coup or something?
Hey, man, you know how we do around these parts. Definitely, brother. Love and appreciation. Keep up the powerful work, and know that Black Power Media is a home for Friends of the Congo. Whenever you
appreciate you.
Yes, whenever you have anything that you need to bring to the table. Of course, we had a Remix Morning Show, and we have a plethora of other shows that you know, that I'm quite sure that you'd be welcome, you know, and you and other members, except for Kwame.
Absolutely.
But
except for
Kwame, you know, so keep him on the phone. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, you know, keep us informed, and we're looking forward to checking out the film.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for providing us the opportunity to share with your audience, brother.
Absolutely, brother. You've been checking out my man Maurice Carney from Friends of the Congo. We definitely want you all to support Friends of the Congo because of the fact that if you say you love Malcolm, then you must love Patrice Lumumba. Malcolm stated that Patrice Lumumba was the greatest man to come up out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? And he, you know, man, I think Malcolm knew what he was talking about. So if you love Malcolm, support Patrice. And if you love Patrice, support the Congo. So again, it's Congo Week. You know, this has been an awesome show. I hate to even call it a show because of the fact that, you know, that diminishes the political education aspect of it all. So, you know, definitely shout out to Juliana Lumumba and Maurice Carney for the bonus coming to give us a update on what's going on in the Congo. You're checking out Riot Started TV. We have a whole lot of good stuff coming up. So make sure that you check out the archives. Aside from that, Black Power Media itself, we have some real solid information and works coming, everything from the Black Panther Party to political prisoners and Ward Churchill and, you know, a little bit of everything, dealing with everything from counterinsurgency to, you know, AFRICOM. You know what I mean? So stay tuned, stay on point, and, you know, stay ready for revolution. Again, Riot Started TV. Check us out every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on the Remix Morning Show. That's from 8 to 10 a.m. That's 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, stay on point, stay ready for revolution. Until next time, we out of here. Salute.
Thank you.